And we appear to have go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And oh, look, the comment section is already fighting with itself. Ah, nice to spread love in the universe. Okay. Good morning. As you can see, we're missing something. Um, yeah, Chris is off. Proven why socialized medicine is bad. Should be back tomorrow. No problems though. In the meantime, we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna say hey to some folks, and then we are gonna roll along. I see Steve Rodemeyer, who appears to have first blood. Um, and then Pit Danny, and then Habeas Corpses, and Sean Stryker. We've got Megan Wilbanks, and then Pacho Ramirez, and that looks like just about everybody. Um, we talked a bit about Prey, and no spoilers, and I'm not going to spend a large amount of time talking about it. It's okay. Oh, the Sergeant Major joined me. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, yes, yes. This is a control edition of the Brushfire Mind. I don't have control issues. I just have control. We watched Prey. It's okay. Gorgeous cinematography. I felt like it maybe was a tad flabby in places, but after after just how awful Shane Black's The Predator was, the fact that it was a competently made movie was a breath of fresh air. So the people that are saying, "Oh my God, it's the best Predator sequel ever," um, I would not go that far. Um, but I guess when you've been starved and abused, having somebody be nice and give you a piece of bread is like, angel choirs. Okay. It's Me More Monday. There's a few things to get through. We're just gonna start with this meme. I feel like it's on brand. I do feel like it's on brand. UN declares war on dangerous conspiracy theories the world is not secretly manipulated by a global elite. Well, that's a weird thing to say. Um, uh, I like the fact that there's been oh my God, Seinfeld memes that have just kind of surfaced in the zeitgeist ever since Seinfeld came to Netflix. It amuses me. And why, oh why, are we talking about global elites and conspiracy theories and strange things for people to say? Like it was a totally shadowy cabal that absolutely fortified the election. Well, of course, because we're going to talk about Alex Jones and the fact that he's been hit with millions of dollars in damages. Um, and he claims, at least, to be bankrupt, which he was not allowed to talk about in his trial. There's all sorts of things he was not allowed to talk about in his trial. Okay, so just quick summary. All right, and I'm not going for granular details here. I just want to say a couple of things to lay out the basics so that we can actually move forward to what I think is really important in this discussion. Alex Jones is Alex Jones. Yes, conspiracy theories, the jokes about they're turning the frickin' frogs gay. Turns out that that if you expose frogs to certain hormones, you can cause them to change sex. So, and turn the frogs gay? No, but was there actually some truth to what he was saying? A little bit, you know. One of the conspiracies that Alex Jones got wrapped up in is that Sandy Hook was faked, or parts of it was faked, or there were crisis actors. When Alex Jones goes in on a conspiracy theory, he goes all in on a conspiracy theory. And of course, Sandy Hook was the shooting that happened about 10 years ago. Awful, a lot of dead kids, and there was all the stuff with the shooter, Adam Lanza. That was kind of strange. So, Alex makes his conspiracy theories, and supposedly, because of his I cannot believe I just did that, but I did, didn't I? Yep. Nope. Okay, there we go. Supposedly, because of his conspiracy theories, there was harassment of the parents, just all sorts of nasty stuff that happened to him. They took Alex Jones to court, and then just total tinfoil hat level stuff. They're at court. You go through a process of discovery, and Alex Jones's lawyers basically just handed the opposing counsel Alex Jones's entire cell phone records and didn't bother to file a motion with the court to go, whoa, wait a minute. Yo, some of that doesn't apply to this case. Some of that's protected attorney-client privilege. Yeah, they waited too long for that to happen. So basically, Alex Jones's lawyers screwed up. And then the judge said, okay, it's just time for a directed verdict. You, sir, are guilty and you're just going to get slapped with all this negative shit. And by the way, there's things you're not even allowed to say in defense of yourself. And one thing that just struck me right away was, gosh, you know, my lawyer can screw up and that's it. There's nothing I can do. It can just ruin my life. Wow, that doesn't seem like it should be possible. And Chris and I spent a lot of time talking about this. Obviously, neither one of us have law degrees, but we've worked in the insurance industry, and the insurance industry does have fiduciary responsibilities. And when you're a fiduciary, there not only are ethics important, but the appearance of ethics are important. So your first duty is to your client, and then your second duty is to the insurance company itself. If you don't have clients and you don't have an insurance company, you don't have an insurance industry, and the company has to trust in good faith from the clients, and the clients have to trust in good faith from the insurance company, or it doesn't work. So there has to be some kind of similar system of ethics in place for lawyers. So the fact that his lawyers would do this, the fact that it was okay for the opposing counsel to use it, like, it's all very strange and bizarre. So anyhow, Alex gets the directed verdict, and even has his comment, because Alex can't help himself. He's just going to run that mouth. He is not even allowed to say certain things in court, and he still manages to find ways to sneak in nasty little comments. Like at one point, opposing counsel's asking him, so it's your contention that there's a cabal of sex trafficking from the rich and powerful elite? And he snaps back and he's like, oh, you mean like Epstein and the Clintons? So, I mean, even going down, he goes down swinging. The man is consistent. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring you over to our friends from the TPS report, because I really feel like they nail what this is actually about here. And then there's a few more comments I'd like to tack on top of this. So here we go. And a big thank you to the TPS report for posting their edited locals conversation to YouTube.
Scarlett both testified that they hadn't even seen Alex Jones's content, is evidence that it's not just about defamation. This was purely about punishing Alex Jones. And when you listen to the plaintiff's lawyer's closing arguments, it's about sending a message to people like us that we need to be very careful about. And I agree, we need to be careful about the things we say, not because of the threat of a lawsuit.
Right, because of our reputation.
But if you choose to be wrong, you're allowed to be wrong.
Right.
There you go. If you choose to be wrong, you are allowed to be wrong. I have often said on this show, and I sincerely believe it, if you want to test the measure of your freedom, how wrong are you allowed to be? Because that's exactly where your freedom ends. If you're not allowed to be wrong at all, I got news for you, sugar. You're not really free. That's just facts, okay? But they said something else that I found really interesting. The parents that are all wrapped up in this lawsuit had never even seen Alex Jones, which means somebody told them about it. Now, according to them, I mean, there was like serious harassment. Like somebody even drove past one of the parents and took a shot at him and shouted, "Oh, this is for InfoWars." And as Danny pointed out in another section of TPS reports show, that has a real kind of a scent of this is MAGA country, empire, bunch of words I can't say on YouTube because I'm white and straight, basically. And yeah, I agree. It does sound a bit exaggerated. Now, here's the deal. It doesn't matter how you feel about Alex Jones. You can love Alex Jones. You can hate Alex Jones. You could think that he's a narcissistic, bloviating piece of shit who does nothing but capitalize on whatever the crazy it thing is. That doesn't matter so much. This is punishment. This is a shot across the bow, okay? Because at some point, you have to be willing to at least entertain a conspiracy theory. Because, well, let me give you a fantastic example. The official story is that Jeffrey Epstein used that shitty little bedsheet to hang himself so hard in his cell he managed to break bones in his neck. Does anybody believe that? Because I don't believe that. Like, not even a little bit. But there you go. The Epstein didn't kill himself is technically a conspiracy theory. Now, is it the same thing as saying that Sandy Hook was a false flag, crisis actors, they're coming for your guns and everything? No, it's not on the same level, but it exists in the same universe. And when you're having discussions, okay, especially when you're trying to move ideas forward, you have to be willing to play at the margins and push yourself to your mental limits and potentially be wrong. Now, if you think Alex Jones is wrong on purpose because he was trying to capitalize on you, well, I mean, sorry, you know, it's actually legal to lie on the floor of the Congress. In fact, it is specifically protected that you can lie if you're on the floor in Congress. And that's because that's how important free speech is to the concept of our nation, okay? Another thing, and this is Alex Jones's words himself, and I think this is important because there's a couple of other conspiracies that at least one that I want to touch on as part of this discussion. So here we go. Alex Jones, in his own words.
So sure that I was covering up Sandy Hook once I said I thought it happened.
You talked about sort of the psychosis that comes in with seeing a lot of these conspiracies, seeing them play out, and then maybe at one point you were looking for conspiracies in too many places because you had seen the corruption.
Isn't that the media and the government's fault? And that they lie so much, they've been caught lying so much that once they've been caught, you can't blame people anymore. I mean, if I lied to my kids all the time, and then I told them the truth about something, I said, hey, you got a new bicycle out there in the yard, or I got you a new motorcycle, or I got you a new skateboard, and I'd lied to them 50 times, there was never a skateboard out there. And they would finally say, no, Dad, I don't believe it. Even though there was a brand new skateboard or bicycle out there. I had more people walk on the street and go, well, look at Jussie Smollett, that was staged. You shouldn't have backed off on Sandy Hook. Well, I never even quote, I always just questioned. I wasn't the guy that first brought up Sandy Hook. I questioned it. I thought it happened. That made them sue me. He's like, oh, we got him now. He says it's real. You must have lied earlier. But they were so sure that I was covering up.
Isn't that the media and the government's fault? Why, yes, it is, in fact, the media and the government's fault. It's the little boy who cried wolf. Let's talk about a conspiracy theory. How about the conspiracy theory that Russia helped Donald Trump steal the 2016 election? Remember that conspiracy theory? A conspiracy theory that I think is fair to say hobbled what was already a pretty damn good presidency. Were it not for that Russia hoax, let me drive this home. I sincerely, absolutely 100% believe what I'm about to say. If it were not for the Russia conspiracy theory hoax, Obamacare would have been repealed. I think Paul Ryan was afraid to do certain things with Trump when he had control of the Congress because he wasn't real sure how all that Russiagate stuff was going to pan out. And so he was very hesitant, very cagey. And because of this, what could have been done in the Trump administration was severely hobbled. And why? Because of conspiracy theories. Now, if Alex Jones supposedly hurt these two parents that became plaintiffs, and Alex from the TPS report actually has a fantastic opinion that says activists found two plaintiffs they could control in order to punish unpopular opinions. I think that's pretty darn close to the truth. If we're talking about a few grieving parents and legitimately grieving, okay, their children were murdered at school, that is awful. But if we're talking about a few grieving parents, and it's okay to sue Alex Jones for millions and millions of dollars, even though he claims at least to be bankrupt, what about all the major corporations that ran with the, sources say, sources say, sources say? Yes, sources say that Trump and Michael Flynn and Jeff Sessions somehow colluded together to, I don't know. I'm still not real sure how the Russia thing was ever supposed to work in the first place, but it totally happened. Don't you worry. So says CNN and MSNBC and ABC. That proof is coming. And then, I'm blanking on his name. The guy they brought in as the special investigator. It doesn't matter. The guy gave the testimony before Congress and said, okay, so we don't have evidence of criminal stuff, but it happened. Oh yeah. There was total collusion. So the point is that conspiracy theory, excuse me, Durham, thank you. That conspiracy theory, hey, that's fine. That's great. We could do that all day. But this, something that's actually, Mueller, thank you, Sergeant Major, Mueller. That conspiracy theory is fine. Oh, that's okay. Cripple a presidency? What are you worried about? But grieving parents, and I think it comes down to two things. it's simply sexier television to have the grieving parents get wronged by the crazy right-wing nut job, and of course you gotta silence those unpopular opinions. It is what it is. I have been told, bless you. Why, thank you, in fact, from David Mathey. Okay, well, I'm gonna let that go right there. I think the point has been made. No matter what your personal feelings about Alex Jones are, you have to be willing to accept uncomfortable speech along with speech that you like. Otherwise, you don't have free speech. I might have missed a few people, so I'm going to go back through. I see Biscuits and Gravy joined us, and then I see a second Steve joined us. There's David Mathey. Let's see, Rebel Jack, still a fantastic name. Georgia Constitution Media, GCM, good morning. Brian Dawson, thanks for commenting on so many of our videos, Brian. Of course, that helps the algorithm. And then Chris, of course, joins us because it's his show. Bless him. And then let's see, Krista Ellington has joined us. Good morning. All right. Now, let's do this and just end Meme War Monday on a meme review. You know, RIP to the meme lord, Alex Jones. Okay. Oh, look, an Alex Jones meme. When you learned during a televised trial that you sent a complete digital copy of your client's cell phone to opposing counsel, failed to redact anything, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. That is still like the most tinfoil hat portion of this whole process to me. Look, how did it happen? Like, I saw the Sergeant Major earlier in the chat say that that lawyers look out for lawyers. Yeah, I guess they do, because, man, there's just, it's just painful. Seriously, world, institutions, between this thing with the China virus and the election that was fortified, and now this against Alex Jones, do you want me to trust anything when all this is over? Because I like living in the world of sanity. This is kind of scary. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Another edition of the Left Can't meme. And I think this is pretty fantastic, because a lot of times you'll see organic memes spring up from the right, and then the left will try and appropriate them. And they're terrible. They're terrible, and they're not funny. Okay, like I've seen the versions of the NPC wearing a MAGA hat, and most of them are just not funny. And for something to be funny, it has to contain a certain percentage of truth. And yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So while this one is not terribly humorous, it is incredibly accurate, because it is often how the left attempts to meme. I'm going to address something Brian Dawson says in the chat real quick. He says maybe he let it happen as grounds for appeal. Maybe Alex is in charge of this shit show for publicity. Brian, I'm gonna push back against that. I heard a defense attorney say something once, and this bears repeating. Appeals are for losers. You have to lose before you qualify for an appeal. And you don't ever want to lose in court. Because as it stands, Alex Jones is on the hook for $45 million. And no, yeah, I mean, they could make a martyr out of him. Alex Jones is a good showman, and he does possess quite a talent for monetizing the most amazing things. He could use this to make himself richer than ever, but he's still got a $45 million hole to dig out of. Okay. We need more Border Patrol agents. Best we can do is double the size of the IRS. Hey, guys, have you heard that they're passing the Inflation Reduction Act? And like so many other things that, like the Department of Energy doesn't actually make energy, for example. The Department of Transportation doesn't actually transport anybody, okay? So the Inflation Reduction Act, hey, remember when they called it the Affordable Care Act and it doubled your premiums and tripled your deductibles? Pepperidge Farm, I remember it was coming out of my check. They're hiring some, I forget the exact number, it's like 70, 80,000 IRS agents. There's only like 900 billionaires. What are the other 79,000 IRS agents going to go after? They wouldn't possibly go after small businesses that potentially made mistakes or maybe even cut a few corners during the pandemic. They wouldn't do that, would they? No, not at all. Ah, yes, Rittenhouse, 3 targets, 3 hits, no friendlies. Last one from the ground after being clubbed with a skateboard. Dickin, pistol at 40 yards, 10 shots, 8 hits, 15 seconds, no friendlies. I never want to hear only military and law enforcement officers are trained enough to carry guns ever again. I think this nails it. Again, not terribly funny, but incredibly accurate. And I said the Dickin thing in particular, even if he was untrained and this was all luck, I'm still on his side. You're allowed to try and defend yourself, period. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. No liberty, no happiness. No life, no liberty. Now let's see who's responsible for Brittany Griner being in a Russian prison. Okay. Yes. This is Brittany Griner's fault. Don't bring drugs to an airport. Any airport. Ever. It's a bad plan. Okay? It's absolutely a bad plan. However, if Brittany Griner had been caught with what was actually an incredibly small amount of marijuana oil in a cartridge here in this country, even in a state that still criminalizes marijuana, I mean, slap on the wrist at most. And I've said before that part of the reason why this is being done is this is a slap in the face of the administration. Like, it is. And yes, they want you outraged. Yes, Russia's probably going to turn this into a deal where they get an arms dealer out of jail, which, by the way, how libertarian are you? I don't think arms dealers should be bad guys in movies anymore. Just saying. However, try and remember that part of this is Brittany Griner's fault. She was entitled, did an incredibly stupid thing. Now, 9 years in Russian prison stupid? No, of course not. And I've said before and said again, no human being deserves to be in jail over a fucking plant. Okay? Period. End of sentence. It's wrong. It's evil. If the state has the power to incarcerate you over a victimless crime, that is an illegitimate power of the state. Period. End of sentence. But yeah, it's her fault. It was stupid. It was so stupid. Don't bring drugs to an airport. Good Lord. Especially an international airport. Don't ask yourself, why do children need to see drag queen striptease? Instead, ask, why do grown men feel the need to striptease in front of children? Yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to add any, I don't think I'm going to add any commentary to that. I think it, yeah, nope, that's it. Just ask the question. because there is no spoon. Ah, yes, the left can't meme because the left is the meme. Boy, if that ain't the truth. And finally, you deserve an automatic rifle with an extended clip for self-defense. I deserve to protect myself from people with automatic rifles with extended clips. I'm okay with your AK-15 if I can have a missile launcher. Terms are acceptable. Yes, because there you go. Yes. Okay, fine. You mean everybody gets to have basically any gun they want? Okay. Sure. Sure. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. Yeah, your terms are acceptable. Megan's on the clock. Have a good day. I'm going to respond to a couple of these comments, and then I am going to call it a day and back up a bit here. Let's see. All right. They'll find stuff anyway, even if you put it in your prison wallet. I'm not going there at all. Habeas corpses. Okay. Chris is in the comments and says this is entirely her fault just because the punishment unreasonable. She knew ahead of time she was committing a crime. Steve says whether we agree with the law or sentencing, she entered a foreign nation with contraband. And both of those are correct. Like, it is Brittany Griner's fault. Like, that was dumb. It was just dumb. Alex says she won't have to tolerate the national anthem for 9 years. So there's that, which... yeah, I've seen that meme. And here's a point with a bit of nuance, okay? I appreciate the schadenfreude of it. I really do. But be careful engaging in it. You'll contribute to the outrage that is going to give Russia the leverage that it needs. I don't think Brittany Griner is going to do 9 years in a Russian prison, and I think most people also do not think Brittany Griner is going to do 9 years in a Russian prison. The question is, how much blood is going to come from that stone? Krista says, it pisses me off that Alex Jones owes $45 million for stating an inflammatory opinion, but dozens of celebrities and politicians literally called their followers to action to attack and harass conservatives in real life. Oh, yeah, harass them if you see them in a restaurant, run them out of the restaurant, that kind of thing. Man, I'm just blanking on names this morning. The black congresswoman, impeach 45, was one of them. And it was totally okay for her to do that. And then, y'all, we talked about it on the show, how the people are sending around the addresses of the Supreme Court justices so you can send them Christmas cards. That's all fine. But yeah, Alex Jones pays $40 million for running his mouth and at worst being an asshole that wanted to monetize tragedy. Like, it doesn't seem right. Let's see. I think we've got the Maxine Waters. Thank you. God, it is so nice having a smart chat. Krista. Woo. Okay, Krista, I love you, but I am not gonna respond to that comment. It'd be okay if we got our serviceman back and her for one arms dealer. It's a fair trade. That's a whole separate thing. And we're a few minutes over, so I am going to wrap it up right there. Thank you for joining us for a control issues edition, because I don't have issues. I just have control when it's me by myself behind the microphone. Chris should be back tomorrow, hearing even more gooder than he could hear yesterday. And we love you guys, and thank you for all the support. And have a good Me More Monday.